Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sneha Sagar from Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, LG Institute of Pharmacy. I welcome you all in the MOOC lecture series initiated by LG Institute of Pharmacy. So today in this session we are going to discuss about anti-anginal drugs. This topic is covered in semester 5 medicinal chemistry 2 subject. Now, talking about the angina, we can say that angina is a sign of severe cardiovascular diseases. Mainly, it is a chest pain occurs or discomfort caused because of the decrease in the blood flow to the heart muscles. Or even we can say that the not enough oxygen is supplied to the heart muscles, and because of that, patients observe chest pain. So, angina is not a heart attack, but it is a signal that can increase the risk of the heart attack. And generally, the narrowing of aorta can also cause chest pain, and that leads to the angina. So, this image indicates the risk of chest pain or angina because of the plaque formation in the coronary artery. So, if plaque is formed in the coronary artery, insufficient amount of blood is circulated to the heart, and therefore patients observe chest pain. So these are several risk factors associated with angina. They are like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, family history, usage of the tobacco, stress, or even age-related angina can also be observed. Symptoms of angina pectoris are like chest pain or discomfort in the jaw, neck, arms, upper abdomen, shoulder, and the back. Patients observe fatigue, sweating, nausea, and dizziness. So these are the different types of angina pectoris, like stable angina, unstable angina, and variant angina. Stable angina is the most common type of angina. It generally develops during the physical activity, and it lasts for 5 minutes or less. And if patient take rest, then it goes away. So we can say that a stable angina is less severe, and it is having a shorter span of the time. Whereas in unstable angina, it is less common and usually occurs during the period of the rest, and an unstable angina lasts for longer period of time, and the severity of the unstable angina is higher compared to the stable angina. Now, third type is variant angina, or we can say that prismatal angina. In this particular variant angina, the patients have chest pain during the night time when a patient lies in the supine position, and this particular angina is very rare. Angina can be treated by many ways. Patients can change their lifestyle, some medications, or the reduction in the stress level can also be helpful. So, there are some anti-anginal drugs available. It is classified into coronary dilators, and the subdivisions are like nitrite derivatives and nitrate derivatives. Examples are like amyl nitrate, nitroglycerin, pentyrethrol tetranitrate, isosorbide dinitrate, and dipyridamole. Beta blockers can also be helpful. Propranolol, metoprolol, and many other beta blockers can be useful in angina pectoris. Another anti-anginal drugs is calcium channel blockers. We can use verapamil, bapiridine, diltiazem, and all the dipines like nifedipine, amlodipine. These are all useful for the treatment of the angina pectoris. And the another miscellaneous category of drugs like nicorandil, nicotinic acid, streptokinase, urokinase, aspirin can also be useful for the treatment of angina. So we will start with our first class, that is coronary dilators. Generally nitrites and nitrate derivatives are used for angina pectoris, and these nitrites and nitrates have capacity to release nitric oxide in the smooth muscle cells, and because of the release of the nitric oxide, we can observe many benefits of this nitrites or nitrates. We will see the molecular mechanism of nitrites and nitrates in our next slide. So before that, what is the uses? What are the uses of this nitrite derivatives? It can be used in angina, myocardial ischemia, as well as the congestive heart failure. The side effects can be like increase in the intraocular pressure, anorexia, hypotension, and headache. So this is the molecular mechanism of nitrite and nitrate derivatives as well as calcium channel blockers in the angina pectoris. So nitrites or nitrate derivatives can enter into the vascular smooth muscle cells from the blood vessels. So they can release a nitric oxide, and nitric oxide has tendency to act on the guanyl cyclase enzyme, which is responsible for conversion of GTP into CGMP, that is your cyclic guanosine monophosphate. This CGMP can cause dephosphorylation of myosin light chain phosphate. See, you can see in the diagram that myosin LC phosphate is converted into myosin LC in the presence of CGMP. So this dephosphorylation can cause relaxation of the smooth muscles. Or even in this diagram you can see the entry of the calcium ions into the vascular smooth muscle cells, and this entry of calcium ion can increase the myosin light chain kinase enzyme, and which is responsible for the formation of myosin LC phosphatase, which further acts with actin and it can cause the contraction. So we can see from this diagram that if we can block calcium channels, then we can decrease this, or we can inhibit the contraction of the vascular smooth muscle cells. And even nitrites and nitrates can also cause relaxation of the vascular smooth muscle cells. So this is the summary of the general mechanism for coronary dilators. Nitrites and nitrates can cause vasodilation. They can cause fall in the blood pressure, and because of that compensatory tachycardia can happen. It can reduce the size of the heart. It can decrease the myocardial work as well as the oxygen demand. So ultimately we can get the reduction of the angina, and in other way they can reduce the venous return to the heart. Even they can reduce the left ventricular and diastolic volume and the pressure. Ultimately it can reduce the coronary uh, obstruction to the coronary blood flow, and thereby they can increase the blood flow to the heart. So in general we can say that nitrates and nitrite derivatives can increase the blood flow to the heart as well as they can reduce the angina pectoris effect. So first drug of the coronary dilator is a nitrite derivative, that is amyl nitrite, which is having NO group, responsible for the dilation of the coronary arteries. These are several drugs used as nitrate derivatives for coronary dilators. In that we have nitroglycerin having NO2 group, pentaerythral tetranitrate having of tetranitrate derivatives, and also isosorbide dinitrate with two NO2 groups present in the isosorbide moiety. In the coronary dilators, another class is dipyridamole. This dipyridamole is basically useful for the reduction of the platelet aggregation, and thereby they can dilate the blood vessels, and it is useful in the angina pectoris. So, some other classes of drugs are also useful for the treatment of angina. They are beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, and some miscellaneous drugs. Beta blockers and calcium channel blockers we have also covered in our previous session of hypertension. So, in this particular case, we have some miscellaneous drugs like aspirin, streptokinase, urokinase. They are acting basically on the fibrinogen, they are fibrinolytic agents, they are the reducer of the platelet aggregations. So some examples are there in the category of the miscellaneous compounds. So now coming to the synthesis of nitroglycerine. Nitroglycerine can be prepared from the glycerine by nitration reaction with H2SO4 and HNO3. Now this is the synthesis of the another drug, that is isosorbide dinitrate. In that particular case, we are using D-glucose and we reduce it with hydrogen and platinum. It converts into the D-sorbitol, and after the reaction with H2SO4 we can get the cyclized form of the D-sorbitol, that is isosorbide, and after the nitration reaction with HNO3 and H2SO4 we can get the isosorbide dinitrate as the product. So these are the FAQs of anti-anginal drugs. It can be asked like define and classify anti-anginal drug with synthesis of isosorbide dinitrate, or it can be asked like define and classify anti-anginal drugs with synthesis of nitroglycerine. Write a note on organic nitrates and nitrites with special emphasis on their mechanism. So these questions can be asked in your GTU examination. So these are the reference book. You can refer Essentials of Medical Pharmacology by K.D. Tripathi, or you can use Textbook of Medicinal Chemistry by B. Alagarsamy, Volume 1. So thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite. Thank you.